what's on the stream right now. But they have all sorts of different scenes and X-splits and all that good stuff, so I don't know what we're actually going to look like. We're ready to go? We're live? We're live? Welcome back to Shack News E3 2017. We're on the floor of E3 in West Hall. We have the folks from Polyarc here to talk a little VR, a little PSVR, a game called Moss, right?
Yes, sir.
So welcome. Thank you guys for coming to the Shack News booth.
Thanks.
In the shadow of Nintendo's booth here in West Hall. You guys having a good start to your show?
It's very good. Very stressful, but great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Moss, what platform is this on? When is it coming out? I need to know these things.
Moss is on PSVR, and we're aiming to have it out for this holiday.
Holiday.
Yep.
That's good. Because a lot of games I saw at the press conference last night were 2018, so it's nice to hear. And it was also really nice to see Sony really supporting VR. You know,
Absolutely.
and I think it's cool to see smaller firms working with them. Can you talk about the decision to make a game for PSVR first?
Absolutely. We actually really like the fact that the DS4 is tracked. It gives you really great hand interactions and still lets you have controls that feel great for the hero.
Yeah, so I think that you're talking about how you're going to use the PS4 DualShock 4 as the means of input for the game, but you can still achieve some hand presence with that.
Absolutely. You can reach into the scene with the controller, and using the triggers or the shoulder buttons, you can grab things and push things around and manipulate the environment. But then guiding the hero Quill is still using a thumbstick and a pretty classic 2-button control scheme.
So it's going to be a little bit of traditional locomotion, but you're using a third-person perspective almost for Quill.
Yeah, I think the best way to think about it is that you're playing a game where you are a character there. You take the role of the reader and you're Quill's companion in the adventure. So in our opening scene, you can actually look down in the water and see yourself. And then Quill, you're guiding her with a controller, and it's about solving puzzles and challenges in combat together.
I was just smiling because I think reflections are a great tool in VR.
They're so awesome.
It's like, hey, you want to immerse someone? Put a mirror in there. Because once you see your head tilt, you're like, oh my god, I'm in here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I hadn't heard of using a reflective water for that same purpose, but that's cool.
Yeah, we're doing a lot to try and make you feel like you're really there, like you're a character in the world instead of a camera. And so we let you move your hand through ferns and through the grass, and you can splash the water, and the dust motes that float through the air, you can push them around. And so everything should be reactive and give you feedback that you're there in the world, present.
And what engine is this running on?
Unreal Engine 4.
That's a good one for VR.
Oh yeah, they've been great partners. Early in the studio's life cycle, we were actually a recipient of an Unreal Dev grant, which saved us.
Wow.
And so we owe them eternal thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They help bring Moss to life.
I think it's really cool that we're seeing this in VR, especially where maybe some studios don't have the money to make this game, but you're seeing companies like HTC or Unreal or Sony, even Oculus, ponying up some cash to make sure that there's good software on these things.
Yeah, it's critical right now. We wouldn't be here without the help of many of our partners.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk VR development. Did you guys use those tools that Unreal released where you can make the game while you're in VR, or were you guys using more traditional development?
Right now, our expertise is in the traditional development style, and so as those things come online and we find that they can improve our workflows, we definitely adopt them.
Right now, it's like you're programming. You throw on the Vive, or you throw on the PS4,
the headset
PSVR. It's a lot of that, a lot hanging it on your head and then putting it back on. Yeah, I think they announced that last year, and they made those tools free to developers. So I was curious if you guys were using that or not. So the workflow is more like a traditional game until you have to put the head on, the HMD on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we think that the VR editor has so much potential.
Yeah.
And so I love that they're continuing to iterate on it, because as it grows and we can insert it into our development process, that'll only help the iteration speed.
And did you guys make any tweaks to the Unreal Engine? Because I know that it's a very modular sort of thing that if you need to create a tool on top of a tool, you can. Or did you find that Unreal Engine 4 was just great for what you needed?
Well, the answer to both those questions is yes.
Yeah.
It is absolutely great for what we needed. Honestly, the main thing is the iteration loop. The time from coming up with a concept and then trying it is so short that we're able to... Everything, if you get a chance to play our demo, everything in it went through 10 or 20 iterations, and it was only possible because of how fast Unreal Engine works. But then we built on top of it. So all the tool sets for building our interactions, the actual things that you reach out and grab and move, that's all custom tool work that we did on top.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really good to hear, because I've heard that it's a great platform just by itself, but the best part is that if you need a tool, you can make it.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Cool. So how long have you guys been developing this game?
So we actually prototyped the original concept of the game over a year ago.
Okay.
And then in this last winter, we sort of ramped into full production.
Wow.
We started staffing out our team.
How big's the team?
15 people right now.
Okay. So you guys are still small, scrappy.
Yeah. It's small from the wider industry point of view,
Right.
and maybe kind of big from the VR point of view.
Yeah, VR's not. I haven't seen many dev teams that are over 10 really in VR.
Yeah, but we got everybody we need, and it's a really great team, and they're doing amazing work, and so we feel very fortunate to have them all.
So I think a lot of our viewers are devs or aspiring devs, and they're all interested in cutting edge technology like virtual reality. As independent developers, what kind of advice can you give to someone when they're starting out a business like this? Did you guys have luck finding VCs, or did you have to throw in your own money? How did this work?
So we definitely started it with our own blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And we found that when you're developing and pitching for VR, it's not something that works very well with a traditional slide deck. And so we were not really getting any traction when we were just trying to talk about what we were doing. It's so hard to verbalize what an experience feels like. And that's really what makes this different than playing other kinds of games, is it feels different. And so once we had our prototype up and running, then we were able to open the door and have some conversations. And so
that's Quill?
Yeah, that's Quill. That's the
that's the
hero
hero
right there.
Quill's adorable.
Thank you very much.
I think that's a challenge right now, because I saw something like VR funding was down 80% in the first quarter. That's largely due to that one AR company, Magic Leap.
Yeah.
Are you guys interested in AR?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, sir.
I mean, our objective is to bring players into our world and let them interact with it directly. And any medium that lets us do that, whether it's AR or VR, is something that we're very excited about.
You know, something that I thought was really interesting at the Microsoft press conference Sunday was Lucky's Tale is coming as a regular game on Xbox. I'm watching this game right now, and I'm like, this could be a regular game too. Is there any idea down the future for that?
So I'd love to comment on that. It may look that way, but I think when you play it, you'll agree that it won't work the same way if you tried to port it back to a traditional gaming platform. And the reason for that is the interaction.
Yeah.
It's not a thing we tacked on the side. Fundamental to the game design is that you can reach into the world and grab things and move them around. And once that really hits you, hopefully you would agree that the game as it's designed now wouldn't actually work in any other way. And it'd be great with our appealing characters. Hopefully people find them appealing and they like our world.
Is that the reflection?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's you, the reader.
Awesome.
But yeah, hopefully with the world we're building, people would be excited about seeing it in other forms. But right now we're focused on VR.
No, I think that's just the thought that crossed my mind when I first saw Quill. He's adorable.
Yeah, and the orb is the representation of your hand.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I think this lends perfectly to my question. Human interface devices and user interface in this game seems like the HMD itself is going to be a large part of where the camera is placed.
Yep.
And then on top of that, your hand presence. I completely understand how you could say that it's not a game that would easily be ported, but the art style looks like it would be great on it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's universally appealing, and then what we're doing is leveraging it for making our VR game work really well.
Yeah, and then so Quill is this little mouse guy, and he's running
Yeah,
around.
she.
She.
Yeah.
Female protagonist.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank
a
you.
female mouse, but still, good on you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
And no, that's really cool. Why'd you guys pick a mouse? Is there some kind of ability that you thought would lend well to this character?
No, it goes back to just how we started, where we were asking ourselves what will be a good game for VR, and we just started with those first principles and those fundamentals of just game design, and what we found was scale was really endearing, and so we asked, like, how can we create a hero that feels right to interact with?
Yeah.
And a small character that can look at you and you can look back and interact with led us to the size, and then we went from there into developing her as a mouse. And
You guys ever try the lab?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You remember the little robot dog? It's
Yep.
like great to have a little companion like that. It feels like Quill is kind of your companion in this game.
Absolutely. The connection that you can establish with her from the beginning of the game until the end is just another thing that you get with VR. Just that connection that feels grounded and physical is
Yeah.
awesome.